What is up, everybody, and welcome back to Doing It with Jason live. Awesome. So today, like the thumbnail said, I made this the other day, and it came out really way better than I actually thought it would come out, and it came out really cool. And I've actually got a client that would like a sample of this. So what better way of showing them or making them a new one? So what this is just a piece of wood. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to faux metal it with some really cool paint by Dixie. Link is in the description below, of course. Definitely worth a try. This stuff is amazing. This and a little bit of spritzer of their Patina spray is phenomenal. So what we're going to be doing is painting this piece of wood to make it look like metal. And also I'm going to make them a sample of this. Figured it'd kind of come out looking like rivets, possibly. These are just like dowel cap little, screw holder covers or whatnot. So yeah, totally awesome. But before we get started, as always, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you are not already subscribed, and smash that bell, because then you're notified next time I go live, next time a new video comes out, all of that good stuff. We really appreciate you guys watching. But let's get started. All right, so we have this piece of wood. We have a messy mess thing right here. So first step for doing this cool metal, faux metal I-beam look is going to be using some sort of their chalk paint, any color you want. I'm using, you just need a base coat first. So what I'm going to be using is their Dixie Mason Gray. You could do pink, you could do purple, you could do white underneath. It really should not matter so much what color, because we're going to be covering it with the iron, which has actually got metal in it, iron in this, and we're going to make it rust right before your eyes. It does take a couple hours for it naturally to do it. But at the same time, I have a heat gun set up, so I'll be able to show you guys a little quicker, possibly. Let me move this this one out of the way. But yeah, so what's going to happen is once we paint it and everything, it's going to give you this cool rust effect with the spray. And this is actually rust. I put a clear coat on top of it, and that way it stops the rust. It won't continue rusting. There'll be no air getting into that bad boy. But yeah, it's pretty stinking amazing. So I figured, hey, I know I did this the other day on my Facebook page. If you guys saw that. So it's very similar to that technique, except I'm using the Mason Gray chalk paint as my starter. You need something for the iron paint to adhere to really well. And then sealing up the wood's always nice as well, because this is just raw wood that I made in the shape of an I-beam. So it's going to give you the look of, metal. So say you wanted to use this for furniture, for anything. I'm using the other one as a floating shelf for my little one's car collection, his little Hot Wheels. He's 4. So we're just going to hang that in his room, and it should be pretty neat having that display all of his little hot rods and stuff, Where's Olive and Brad? Where's Olive and Brad, Paul Peck? Well, you know what? They're busy watching other YouTube channels in the house right now. Although Brad is behind me, kinda, over here. But, for a live, I'm not sure, if Brad should come out and hang out. So we're just gonna go with the flow of, Bradless. Although I will maybe, maybe we could say hi to Brad in a few after we get this tutorial all shaped out. Let me know in the comments if anyone else likes Brad, or if you just want me to burn Brad, because we could burn Brad as well. He is part cardboard. But, it's totally up to you guys. I just have a lot of fun hanging out with Brad. But speaking of, do have a video in the works with Brad where we are making a pretty cool bed. So, Brad's just hanging out in the shop here. So, he needs somewhere to sleep. I feel really bad for him, turning out the lights on him every night. So we're going to make him a little bed and everything. It should be pretty cool. And it will be an actual bed, not just a fake bed or anything. So it'll be really neat. But yeah, if you're just joining us, I am painting this piece of wood that looks like an I-beam, or shaped into an I-beam, and I'm just putting the primer coat on, we can call it, and then we're going to be using this really cool Dixie metal patina paint that will rust this thing and make it look like it's super old. The fun part is this is going to be like, maybe a tenth of the weight of actual metal, if not less, and depending on what kind of woods you use, if you use, basswood or whatnot, you can make it or you can even use styrofoam for this project, which would be pretty cool. Race car bed, that's hilarious there. It will not be a race car bed, but maybe in the future Paul Peck, that is where were you before I started building this bed? That would have came in really handy. So yeah, the hard part is because I'm trying to paint. I don't want to paint all the sides, but I want to paint most of the sides of this thing. Just because I want to show the wood for the customer to see that it is actual wood behind it, behind this piece, because it is so realistic that they might not even believe me until they actually touch it and stuff like that. So for all that, we are going to do that. But yeah, so it's really easy, just using a Dixie Belle chip brush, nothing fancy here. I'm just giving this thing a nice little coat of Dixon Gray. That's what it is. Mason Dixon Gray. It's very southern, this whole Dixie Belle paint line, which is kind of cool. I'm originally from New Orleans, so hey, why not? Hi, I'm Fowling from Denmark. Well, what is up? Hello, Denmark. What time is it out there? Jeez. That's like all the way across the world here. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Definitely appreciate it, and that is awesome. And if you have any questions, please feel free to say hello. Got a little hair in there. And any questions, definitely, yeah, we'll get to them. And Paul Peck, Mr. Drywaller, is in the chat. So if you have any drywall specific questions, that guy, he's got the answers. He's got the channel that is killing it for drywall. I mean, just completely murdering YouTube right now with his drywall tips, which are phenomenal. So highly recommend you guys checking out Mr. Peck there. He's a totally good guy. And so since it's an I-beam, I do want to paint all the sides, you know, that way you could see the actual I-beam. And for the floating shelf that I made for this, which holds the Hot Wheels, I actually just painted a little bit of the backside, which I'm probably going to do too, because you want that three-dimensional look, especially if you know, say it's hanging against the wall, like so, you know, if you look from the side, you will be able to see a little bit of that paint back there. So we want to make sure to cover at least a little bit of that. But like I said, the tricky part is finding a way to paint this without setting it down. So you know what? We're going to not paint that side right now because I don't want to mess up this thing for the prime coat. And that looks good. All right, so that one's all set. We're going to set it aside. And then, like I said before, we're also going to paint this little dealie. I think we can give it like a rivet look. So it's going to have the rivet and the metal look. You know, kind of like an old piece of an airplane or something. Who knows? So we're just going to give that a nice coating of the Dixon Gray before we put on our rusting stuff. And that part is really, really neat. And how easy it is. There's no talent involved in this. Other than I really think it really matters what you're painting for it to look like metal. You know, if you paint something that obviously doesn't look like metal or it's not meant to be metal, you might not have as good results. But if you can like just think of things that would be metal in real life, like seriously, phenomenal results, I think. I wasn't expecting the I-beam, which, you know, here I'll show you in this camera color light right here. I was not expecting this look at all when I was done, and it's like phenomenal. Like it looks like rusted metal, except, you know, it's wood. So it's definitely to the eye unnoticeable once that rust spray gets going. And this product, what's cool about Dixie Belle is you can use it on anything. Hey Hubs, well what's up, A-Rod? Thank you, Jason. We need to do absolutely, Paul Peck. We definitely need to do a collaboration, man. Something with drywall, something with woodworking, painting, furniture, something. That would be totally awesome. I wish you didn't live way out in Florida. We could do some live collabs in shop, or if you're ever in the Chicagoland area, definitely hit me up. I've got a lot of holes in the wall in the house that could be repaired. You know, we have 4 kids, so they get a little crazy. But yeah, this is awesome. So I am going to paint the actual sides of this too, because I don't want the wood exposed. The wood, it's just plywood is what I'm using right now for the sample piece. But, you know, we want it to look like metal through and through, but I will leave the back wood so that way they can actually see, hey man, that is wood, and that is too cool that you made that wood rust. You know, that sort of thing. So, yes, watch and paint right here. So let's give this a little time for the I-beam. It's going to be almost dry. Dixie Belle paint dries really quickly. I'll probably hit it with the heat gun just for a second. But depending on how the weather is outside, all that good stuff, you could be second coating this stuff in probably, I don't even know, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, depending on the size of the piece. Sometimes when you're finished painting the whole piece of furniture, you are already ready for your next coat and to work your magic. All right, that one looks beautiful. We're going to set that one aside. And we're going to put that in some water. Close this up because I'm really bad at doing that. So we're going to make sure I do that. And go back to the main view while we shake it up. All right, so here's what we're going to be using. The Patina iron paint right there. I know the glare kind of kills it right there, but it's got actual metal in it. You're going to shake this thing. When are you taking the fam to Disney World? Actually, me and the A-Rod up above you, we were planning on February to possibly do the Disney World excursion. So, hey, that might actually work out, man. But we'll see. There was something else on the possibility on the agenda. You want to shake this up, too. The actual activator right here. I can't remember. It's between Disney World and something else. And there's something else I don't remember what it is. All right, so this is still a little tacky. So hopefully this doesn't get too loud for you guys. We're going to just kind of dry this first coat out a little bit. Let's see. Shake it like a red pepper flakes. Absolutely. Thank you, Ninja, please. You got to shake it because them flakes of metal in there and all the metal that's actually in there, they tend to, sometimes sit at the bottom. So we definitely want it nice and shooken. And don't worry, if you're just joining us, this is a pretty quick technique. We're already almost there. So just give us a few more seconds. And we're gonna, you Paul Peck, you're funny. You guys are all funny. Like seriously, the transformation is amazing. And how easy it is. Because there's no like fine paintbrush used and involved in this at all. It is complete and utter. The spray does all the work, but you can spray it on. You can brush it on if you wanted to really control it. You can let it drip on, which my daughter and I did the other one. So yeah, there's some drips you can see, and I think that kind of gives it the whole like the look. You see those drips and everything's kind of dripping right here, and it just gives you that really cool metal look. And then if you just kind of more mist it on, you'll get that look. If you don't finish the paint, that's the backside, you get that wood look. But yeah, it's like there's so much happening all on its own, and that's why I think this is so neat. It's all like, hey, let's let the product do it. So we have shooken that well, and what we're going to do now is paint it with the iron patina paint. So it's somewhat dry. We're going to call that dry enough because, hey. So now the trick is when you're painting this product has to still be wet for the activation to occur. You can't let it dry. You let the first coat dry of whatever your base coat is, but you do not, absolutely not, let this coat dry because the activator will not work. And then you will be very disappointed and very upset. And yeah, don't want that. So that's the main thing. And I did not let the first coat dry completely, so let's let that air just a hair. It's kind of mixing. Maybe I need to start a drywall comedy channel. Well, see, there is no comedy here today on the lives. It's hard to do comedy without, by yourself, which is what I noticed. But I do think, yeah, well, I don't know what to tell you there, Paul. My channel's obviously not thriving like crazy like yours is, and you have no comedy. So, you might just want to stick with what you got, with what you're doing already, because obviously it seems like it's working. All right, we're going to let that dry a hair longer. It's like totally eating through the first coat. I'm not getting any coverage on that one because it's just blending. So we're going to do this one. I know this one's drier. It's probably one of the ones I first started with, and it looks drier. So could you use this on canvas? Yes, absolutely. You can use this product on anything. Plastic. You can use it on styrofoam. You can use it on, yes, canvas. You name it. That's what's so cool, and it's so versatile. Like, you can make anything look like metal. And all their paint is made to go on everything for the most part, so that's the kind of cool thing as well. But when you pick the right... So, like, even those cardboard things, like, I got one over here. Coming right back. So this is that cardboard from Hobby Lobby. So it's just cardboard. It's really, really cheap, like $1 or $2 when on sale, and then made it totally rust and look like metal, which is really neat. And this like weighs absolutely nothing, a few ounces. So that's the cool part about this paint is it can go on anything. So I'm gonna put a lot of paint on this, just because it seems to be still wet underneath. But don't worry, the more we go, the faster everything else will dry. All right, so that's all sitting there. Now, all you have to do is this. Shake this up, spray it on there, the green spray, and that is all. We're going to go, yeah. And the droplets, totally love those. That's what's going to give some really funky look to it. And then there you go. And so now you can actually, I'm just going to heat it up a little bit to start it drying because I want to flip it over and keep going. But what's going to happen now is that paint was wet underneath, the spray is going to hit it, and it's going to start a reaction of actual rusting. So it's really neat because when this is dry, and like I usually leave it overnight depending on, let it just sit, and that's how the other one came out looking really awesome, didn't touch it. So right now it's going to slowly start changing, but I'm kind of like just activating it and helping it activate a little quicker for me to be able to roll it over. But it's actual rust. Like if you rub it with your hands before you clear coat it and smell your fingers, it's straight up rust. So, you know, don't eat it. It's a chemical reaction. Just look at it, smile, be happy. That's all you have to do. So yeah, there's no hand painting, there's no nothing. It's just gonna do it all by itself. Funny looking. What's funny looking, Ninja? Maybe something's funny. Not sure. But it's cool. That's cool. It's all good. Alright, so we're going to go back to this one now. It's a little more dry. And so as I said, this is going to continue reacting right now. So it's not going to all just happen like, boom, in 10 minutes. Nothing ever good comes from 10 minutes of waiting for something. But within an hour, you're going to start seeing things, and not like you're hallucinating or anything. Unless you ate the product, then you might. But you're going to actually start seeing all the reaction happen. And like I always say, just go, you know, watch some TV, work on another piece, do something else, let it happen, come back, check on it, because it can go like too far on you and you'd be like, oh my gosh, it looks like a rust bucket, I don't like it. Because it is a chemical reaction. It's going to rust. It's going to do what rusting does, but very quickly after it gets to a point. And then to stop the rust process, like I said, you're going to put a clear coat on it. So simple, easy as that. So now I'm just going to spray this. Want this one to look really funky. And then other thing, and that spray tip is kind of getting all messed up. There we go. Uh-oh, running low on the juice. So also they do sell, oh, just hit something on the keyboard. Hopefully that didn't freeze everything. They also sell a purple one, bluish purple, and that's to do other colors. This, when you hit it with the rust or the iron, I think it turns more of like a whitish kind of tint, or greenish maybe. So we're just gonna put like one little spray there, one little spray there, and then let that happen. See what happens, and that's the fun part, is you get to see later what happens. Like here, I think this section right here, as you can see, that section, it got hit with the blue, whereas that was all pure green. So it kind of just changed it up, you know, a little bit, added a little more rust, a little more character to the rust. And then so now we just do this. And what I like doing is the puddles that it makes. I like, and then so you can see this one right here. It's already splattered. Here you can see just that the blue one gives you a quicker reaction. So you can see right there, it's already changed pure color right there. It's not the actual liquid anymore. It's drying into it and changing and rusting it up. Do you rinse off the activator with water to stop reaction? No, you not recommended to do that. You need to seal it with something. So they do sell like a clear coat, water-based clear coat that they sell from Dixie Bell, which I have. Here, I'll show you. I got it right here. And they also sell gator hide. But my favorite for the metal is the flat. So it's just comes like that. It's just a clear coat. You shake it up. You put it on there as well. And I just put one coat on that. It goes on kind of got a bluish haze to it, if that makes any sense. It's got a little haze. You're going to freak out, a whitish haze. And you'll be like, oh my gosh, it turned everything white. But wait for it to dry. And like I said, it dries probably about 15 minutes or so, and it clears out. And then boom, everything's right back to normal. So that's one thing I hear about. You know, people freak out, oh my gosh, it turned white. And that's okay. It's just you put a nice thin coat of that on there. The white goes away as soon as it dries. And boom, you stop the rust in its tracks. Or you could just not finish it and let it keep going. And that's awesome. You know, it can't eat through the wood or anything. It's not going to like be structurally unsound if you let it keep going. It's not a huge deal by any means. So you just let it keep going. And then, yeah, it'll just keep rusting. And eventually it'll quit. It's not like it's going to rust. Then again, I don't know. I haven't, you know, had a piece that I've done like years ago or anything to tell you if it completely stops rusting. But for the most part, it will. And you don't have to worry about anything. All right, so we're gonna do this one last side on this bad boy, and then I'm gonna do this square panel with the rivets that I think is gonna come out really cool looking too, as a new experiment for a customer. I'm also gonna do the sides right now, because like I said, you definitely want those sides done to give you that really cool I-beam look, like it's real metal and all of that fun stuff. So what are you guys doing on a Friday, everybody? Who's working? Who's hanging out by the pool? I'm sure Paul Peck's hanging out by the pool if he's still there. That is a for sure, because that guy lives by the pool and drywall. All right, so that is there, and like I said before, it is wet, so we're gonna spray our stuff on it. And there's no right or wrong way of doing this part. It's just the more irregular you do it, the cooler it ends up coming out. And we're gonna spray a little bit of the blue. Look at that, a line of blue. That'll be cool. And then maybe a little bit over here. Okay, so now I'm gonna set this aside and let that stuff without touching. Oh, that's difficult. I'm gonna set it right over here. And then we're gonna go on to our airplane panel is what I'm gonna call this thing. Make sure this is completely dry. Get this bad boy going, because I think this is gonna look really cool. And all this is a piece of 1/2-inch plywood, and I drilled some 3/8-inch holes and put these little buttons over it that are usually meant to cover screw holes. So that, ooh, heating up too much, getting that paint kind of bubbly. Don't want to overheat your paint. Step one. So yeah, it's just some of those little buttons. And so this is great if you were putting together furniture or something, or a box or anything that was cool for a kid's room, for you know, anything. Museum, if you guys work in a museum and you want to show off your skills, really simple. Do this and then paint it with this, and boom, you're going to be moving on up at the museum. That was too much paint. All right, so just going to cover this whole thing with the iron paint as well. And you can do 2 coats of this as well. You know, it doesn't just have to be 1 coat. I can paint this with this iron if I want a really, really extravagant, thick, you know, coverage, and just say, you know, the piece isn't taking it as well or whatnot. You know, you can cover it once, let it dry, and then come back, do another coat, and while it's wet, spray it again. Or you can actually do this, spray it while it's wet, let it dry, and come back and do another coat all around on top of that, or touch up any spot that you want. If it looks, you know, say you overboarded it here, overboarded, is that a word, overboarded? No big deal, because this stuff is made to layer. You can put as many coats as you want. For the most part, it isn't going to hurt anybody except your wallet. So, no, I'm kidding. I don't know how expensive it is. It's not too bad. But, yeah, like this one jar has lasted me, I mean, a long time. So that's the coolest part, is it doesn't take much paint, and it's probably the easiest. I've played with other companies that made these type of products, and they were cool until you clear coated them. And as soon as you clear coated them, you lost all the realistic look of the product, or of the piece you were going for. And it's like, oh, that was disappointing. It looked really neat if I wouldn't have clear coated it. So, you know, what is up? You do it. You do it. It's up in the neighborhood. How you been? You do it. Let me guess. You're going to that outdoor restaurant bar tonight, I'm guessing, out there in New Jersey. Gonna go kicking it in the what is that, like some garage door style, what do they call those bars? But we're gonna take the kids to a place called Stuckey's right out here, not on the lake, I believe. That's what A-Rod texted me right before the show. So we're gonna be, you know, a little bar and grill. Sometimes kids eat free, sometimes they don't know what's going on tonight, but it's a nice little place up here in Johnsburg, Illinois. All right, so that we're gonna put a little more in there since I was taking my time on there, and I really want the kind of, I don't know, you could do so many effects on this. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. It's a surf bar for sure, Jersey Shore surf bar. How many surfers are there out in Jersey Shore? I never seen anyone surf in Jersey Shore. Maybe I'm just that silly. Or actually, during a hurricane, I think I've seen people on the East Coast surfing. But yeah, are those some good surfing waves out there on the Jersey? All right, so you can also dab it and do some funky stuff with it. You know, you don't have to streak it, whatever. So actually, we're going to do that on this one. We're going to make it look really funky and metal. We're going to do some dabbing areas. Maybe not the whole thing, you know, maybe just like it was sitting in the water here. Who knows? Just to give it some really cool, funky brush look, you know? Or not brush look. Get rid of them brushes. Actually, we're going to get rid of all the brushes. We're going for texture on this bad boy. That's a good idea. Since I'm already given the customer a sample of that, maybe I'll show them how you can get the texture. And the texture is just dabbing that brush, you know? Nothing major, nothing hard at all. Now, while it is wet, we are going to spray this bad boy and activate the patina. What are you saying? We are home of Kona Surf Shop in Wildwood. Oh, really? Oh, that's awesome. Huh. So you guys, wow. But is there a lot of surfing going on there? Yes, in the winter or when there's a hurricane. Oh, so that is the 2 times. Oh, geez, I wasn't even looking. I was looking at comments. Look what you did. Look what you made me do. No, I'm kidding. So we're just going to play with that. We're going to go with that. I'm going to do the sides a little. And like I said, if I overdo this thing and I over-rust it, no big deal, because I could just put another coat of paint on top of it to kind of blend it out. But that's going to be kind of funky right there. I love the blue. The blue really just adds a little more character to it. The green gives you that like old school rust, like it's been there for years. The blue gives you more like that, hey, I left that outside last night and I shouldn't have. You know, like say you left your table saw outside. That sort of thing. Happy mistakes. Absolutely. Patina is more than just the name of my ex-girlfriend. Is that how you found us, Ninja Please? Was it naming your ex-girlfriend and you're just checking around online? No, I'm just kidding. But that's a name. Where was she from? Patina. I've never heard that. Oh dear, got a brush in there. Brush, oh no I don't. Ooh, I kind of like it. It is like a hair, but it got covered. And I'm going to go with that because it just looks like, you know, even more grosser and neat. And I puddled this on. So, but man, look at that. Just right there. So imagine like 6 hours from now, this is going to look pretty freaking awesome. But as you can see it right there, it's already getting, the glare is totally messing this up. But it's already getting that patina look. And obviously it's soaking wet. So yeah, if you guys follow on Poland, awesome. Well, that's neat. Oh yeah, you said someone else was Denmark out here, so maybe she's watching. Not that Poland and Denmark are the same, but when you live in Chicago, it is kind of like Chicago's the same as everywhere else in the United States. I'm guessing too, or at least it's just for me, someone who's not the brightest of the bunch. So. Yeah, so this is taking off really good, but I'll put the final pictures for sure on the Facebook, Doing It With Jason /Facebook, and you will see what it looks like when it's done. See, this one's getting really funky too. That's awesome. So yeah, this one's already got the funky happening to it. And like I said, this looks like this, which is exactly how it's supposed to look. But in like 6 hours, it's going to look totally awesome and like that. And I'll put all 3 of these side by side so you guys can see exactly how it all progressed. But I'm actually super excited about how this looks right this very second. It's pretty awesome. Very, very cool. Like, man, you guys should really try this. I wish the camera was a little better as far as this top view. Let me see if I can grab it again. So yeah, these lights. The lights, they work, but they don't work for some things, like when it's shiny like this. But yeah, this is like super. And I would say I could do the top one, but it might not melt too much. Here, let's see if the top camera's a little better. Maybe. And now we're dripping everywhere. But oh dear, dripping all over the main frame. So yeah, so we're just gonna say top view is the best view. So looks awesome. Thank you guys very much for watching. Definitely appreciate it. Let's give everyone a round of applause, because that's just what we do in here. We give everybody a round of applause. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry there were no jokes this time. Yeah, we could have used a laugh track if there was. But there wasn't. Stay cool out there. But yeah, you guys, thank you guys very much. We'll definitely see you guys soon. We're going to be doing more of this. Oh, and for Paul Peck, if you're still watching, Brad says hello. Hello there, Brad. Welcome back to Doing It With Jason and Brad. No, that's a sign off. So stay tuned for Brad. He's going to be building a bed with me because he's just been sleeping in this very position like this, which is kind of uncomfortable for the poor guy. I feel bad. So we're going to make him a bed. It's an adjustable bed. That's all the detail I'm going to give you. Because he does fold up. He has cardboard. He does like, some support. So we're going to, Paul says hi. So he doesn't talk much, as you know. But thank you guys for watching. We will see you next time. Have a good weekend.